Who's ready to melt a snowman today in Stage 18, Boss Rush, Hard Mode, S Angry Iced Snowman? We have everything that you need to know to be successful here as the #1 free-to-play player. We're going to break it all down for you in today's episode and guide. With that, thank you for tuning in. As always, appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs, questions, comments along the way. Do let me know. Hooray, and we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server, my friends. All right, with that, you are here for Boss Rush Stage 18. We're continuing to move on up. With that, here a couple things. As always, make sure you take advantage of your supply chest. As always, makes a huge difference. Don't forget these lovely additional purity crystals. Oh, I love those. And then your suppression levels here. Make sure you continue to increase these. Every little bit helps, and every little bit helps by in terms of time. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into Stage 18 here, the Angry Snowman. Now here was a prelude to the last episode. We got a fun little deck there that you can check out here on the channel. Now a couple things as always. We got special conditions, min base get levels 20, cookie level and skill levels 90, so helpful there for all the free play players like myself. And then additionally, don't forget those toppings, the biscuits and the tarts are super important here, because everything else doesn't matter in terms of that time and that speed, making it Boss Rush, of course, right? So very important pieces there to tweak. Now when it comes to the Stage 18 S Angry Iced Snowman, the first thing that we always want to do is check out the boss information. Right now we still have two different pieces. We got the regular effect, the boss receives increased fire type damage, and then the second one there, the rage effect, the boss receives increased poison type damage. We've had both of these before, so we're going to walk through some of these teams here today to help you get through, and some tips, tricks, and some tweaks that you can apply for your team, because I know many of you commented about that and really do appreciate it, and I love doing it for you, so I make these guides. All right, so the first one here is, again, fire type damage. So let's go into edit. The first team here is going to be this one. Couple things on this in particular. Most of these cookies, well, some of these cookies, at least half of these cookies you can get from the mileage shop. Just make sure that you're really going after these three pieces here: Darkness Overlord, Vision of Lightning, and Torrent of Flame. Essentially, you're going to get a ton of big baddies, and everything because of this is going to make it fire type damage, which is super crucial. Now, in order to achieve these, you need to make sure that you have 2 charge cookies, 1 ambush, 2 ranged, and 2 support cookies. Now, the biggest thing to hit this synergy deck is just making sure that you align those types. If you're looking to filter, make sure you can remove all types here and then choose that route accordingly to really help you out. And then additionally, you can think about boost. Linzer is always key as well, my friends, so make sure that you're using Linzer there. Now, this has been one that we've used before. Going with the big baddies has been a great strategy to really help us pound through these bosses. Now, let's go ahead and check out the gear. In terms of the gear, as always, this is the biggest spot where you can make those tweaks. Again, I'm not perfect. We got to make some more changes as always, and just giving you some directional areas to think about. Here we're on crit, lots more attack. Here we're on attack. You can be on cooldown. We got lots of attack and attack speed there. Additionally, here we got attack, more fire. Here we got our speed, so that we can get our suspect all the way up. Here we're on crits. You can be on cooldown. You can add more attack. Removing damage resist bypass is fine. Moving over to attack is fine. Here we're on cooldown. I like the amplification here. You may want to switch to something like a star coral instead, as an example, but again, however, that boost for that fire might be something that you may enjoy better here. And then last but not least, we got Wind Archer here on attack and more attack and attack speed to really help blow through this thing. Okay, so this is going to be your first team here, again centered around your fire type damage. We gave you some ideas and swaps. Let's go ahead and pound through it here with one of our tickets. Now, again, questions or comments along the way, please let me know. I love to hear from you. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is we will pause it once we get through to really stop and hone in on that time. As you can see, every little second counts, every little thing matters. We're not going to be able to get a ton of damage in on the next one. Now, one thing here before I exit, you may want to continue to do more damage. Now, when I've calculated on the next team, I'm roughly around 10%. So if you get 10 more percent here, which would be 700,000 in terms of damage, you will then not use that ticket. If you pause here and exit here, you will keep the 10 seconds. So that's 2 trade-offs to think about. I know many of you asked me about this. So what we'll do is we'll actually continue, see if we can get another 700,000 in here in damage, which is what we were able to do. So what that means now is we won't use up that next ticket. We will move into that next piece. Hopefully here, it's gonna be real tight. So keep that in mind. My math might've been a little bit off, but we're gonna find out what that trade-off looks like here in a second. All right, so those are the first pieces here, the first team for the S Angry Iced Snowman. We talked about some of the trade-offs as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that second piece. Now we got the boss receives increased poison type damage. So let's go ahead and go to edit. This is what you want to hone in and focus on. You want to make sure that you're activating Shadow of Venom. Being able to summon a giant prune jelly familiar team deals poison type damage, my friends. Super, super important. We got the Torrent of Flame here. We got the water, additionally Echoes of Power. We got enemy debuff and enemy summoned creatures receive more damage there as well. In order to achieve this, the big one's really getting the 2 bomber type cookies in here. You might have Eternal Sugar as an example. That might be a great one for you. Actually is a great one to throw in here. I got 2 support ones. I looked at using the fire type like we did before. However, we're going to stick with Star Coral because that one seemed to be the best for me. Again, we have Linzer in here. We got the Shadow of Venom. You got the Charge. You got the Ambush. You got a Magic. Maybe the Magic one here isn't Shadow Milk as an example. You could try with Matcha. I did try it with Matcha. Wasn't quite as good. And additionally here, you could try your Fire Spirit Cookie, those kinds of things. Anything that's high in the magic damage is super, super key. Again, giving you some other ideas to take this thing down, okay? Now, let's go ahead and check out the gear. Again, we're on attack here. Here we're on more attack. Here we're on attack. Here we're on attack. Here we're on cooldown, and then last but not least on this one we're on same thing, need for speed as I like to call it, and then cooldown there. You could move this one over to cooldown if you'd like to instead, so we'll do that and show you the difference from that perspective. Now again, if you're close here on the 41 and how you play around, that extra 15% might help you speed up. Well, will help you speed up depending on where you're at with your team, okay? All right, into the next one, really close. We're at 42%. Like I said, it was that last 10% damage. Maybe we got it to 8 when we did the suppression increases. We're going to find out relatively quickly and relatively soon here if it's going to be enough, my friends. It makes a huge difference once we get those stacks on and cracking and moving. The biggest thing, as you can see, is we get stuck on some of that frost, which can ultimately get us. Oh, we were so close. So close, my friends. With that, in terms of what happened, we got to use another ticket. What matters right there is, for me specifically, by closing out on the timer on the last one, we still would have used 3 tickets. We might have actually had a slightly faster score just because of that. Such a fun one there, though. Regardless, I love doing these things here for the community, and hopefully you learned a couple things outside of the teams in terms of how you can think about boss rush in your team and taking down not only this stage, right, all the rest of them. And that concludes today's episode for us here today with stage 18, S Angry Iced Snowman. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you still got a question, if you got a comment, please let me know. Hopefully that was helpful in some of the trade-offs that we discussed as well. And we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server. Lastly, my friends, truly thank you. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs. Thank you so much to our members. It's a great way to support along with our affiliate links and our swag and merch store. Yeah, get a hat. Anyway, or some other stuff. With that, thank you so much. Stay connected on our socials. We got a lot more boss rush. We're moving on along fast as we can. Thank you for tuning in. We got a ton more content all the time headed your way. Until next time, my friends, keep on running.